Is it that Ardbeg?
It is Ardbeg.
Can I look this up? How do you spell it?
Yeah.
Ard.
Ard
Well,
ARDBEG 10.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the. No, I'm kidding. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
no, this is not a podcast. One day I will remember
There
that.
should be an intro.
Nice.
Before we got started, we were talking about what we were drinking.
It's so good.
So we're looking up some scotch that I'm drinking. Ardbeg 10.
I would love a like glass of scotch right now, but not gonna happen right now.
Dude, I'm
Well, if I
telling
could
you.
time traveler fly to you.
Come to our neck of the woods, dude. It'll be great.
Just move here.
So all three of us have seen this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, Josh. I don't know if I heard either your opinions on the original trailer. Do you guys want to watch that one first?
Yeah, let's watch that one first.
Yeah, sure.
All right, 1 second. Yeah, let's check this out. I was not a fan. I thought it looked pretty terrible, like this trailer. But spoiler, am kind of liking this other one quite a bit more. How's the audio? Let's see, is this working? It is not working on the stream. 1 second.
Yeah, I really like the second one, but we'll see.
No, why is it not playing? This is streamer life.
It's a hard enough life for us.
Yeah, I know it is. This is horrible. Alright, got it.
Got it.
Okay. So this is the trailer that came out like 20 days ago. Let's watch it. Here we go. Yeah, I was gonna say this looks terrible. Oh, this is not the. Sorry, it's like really loud in my ears. This is the first trailer that came out. Yeah, so it's just literally nothing to even talk about, unless there's anything you guys want to talk about. Like this is the one that came out first, and then there's a second one, and we're gonna watch the third one.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, go for that.
Yeah, so I've just not much.
That is uninspiring.
Yeah, and it's just not. It's just like didn't show anything really. I think maybe this is this one, right? Yes. Okay, so this one's 13 days ago. This is the one that me and Michael watched. So I'm curious of both of your thoughts on this one. Here we go.
There was a time when the world was so young. There had not yet been a sunrise. But even then, there was
Elden Ring.
light.
That's pretty much Elden Ring.
Yeah, I know, dude, it looks exactly like Elden Ring. Same exact tree. So, I don't know if you guys watched the stream, but this is the first thing we thought, like, okay, this looks like Lord of the Rings, but it's like, yeah, because it's just a copy of what was in the other movies. And pretty much everything else, I feel like doesn't look like Lord of the Rings at all. And it's hard for me to put my finger on it. But yeah, okay, we'll keep going.
Forests to protect.
Let me know if you want me to pause it.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain.
Like, that looks terrible.
But we Harfoots have each other. We're safe.
Okay.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel. Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Okay, so doesn't that look like not Lord of the Rings at all? It looks kind of like Marvel, right?
Yeah, it has
like
a very
Asgardy kind of
Marvel
looking.
feel.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is over.
You have not seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen
Okay.
A lot of people are criticizing that line.
what I have seen.
see. It's kind of lame.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all.
The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Okay.
Hmm.
What do you guys
Okay.
think?
So I'll go since I'm not huge into the Lord of the Rings as you guys are. To me, it's setting itself apart visually. That it's its own thing. That it's tied into the world, but it's not tied into the original 3 films or the other Hobbit movies. So I can appreciate that it's trying to be a little distinct while still having the same general feel.
Yeah, I
I'd
agreed.
also
It's like trying to be. It's definitely trying to be like distinct. Like at least it's
Yep.
not just being like, oh, let's just do the same exact elves,
Mhm.
same exact dwarves. Like they are trying to do something a little different, which is like, okay, that's you get some points for that.
I can also appreciate that, at least in my head, I'm making the correlation between the differences that it's also a different age and time. And so it's like before all the chaos and destruction starts really happening, at least from my understanding of how the universe works.
Yeah.
So
it's
there's a
like,
little bit of a cleaner, more fantastical vibe, feeling and art style to it versus which the old movies were shot on film and were a little more like chaotic and like end of the world scenario, so it seemed a little dirtier and dingier. Well, this is like still more pristine and hopeful.
yeah, it's this one's 3,000 years before the first Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
I think this is like an origin story for Sauron
Sauron.
making the ring and everything. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So like with that in mind, for me, it's like, okay, I'm okay if it doesn't look like the original movies because it's 3,000 years before in a completely different time where everyone's a little more enlightened. There's peace, and they're not really. It seems like it's going to be one of those, hey, this is a big event getting ready to happen, and everyone's going to be skeptical, and then it's finally going to break loose sort of situation.
Yeah. Was there peace before Sauron? I don't know
No.
what the story was
No,
for that.
was it man against elf? Is that what happened?
No, so do you want the long answer or the short answer?
The long answer.
I know. I felt that like, well, in the beginning,
Well,
9,000 years before Lord of the Rings.
Right. so I'll try to make it a concise answer because I don't know if I'm up for giving the wrong answer, but the basic premise is, and the other trailer does a better job of showing this. I think the start of the show is going to show the end of the Great War between the elves and free people versus Sauron's master, Morgoth, who is a god. And so Sauron is of the same species as Gandalf and Saruman and the other wizards,
Okay.
but he was the right-hand man of Morgoth. And so I think what they're going to show at the beginning of this, because the other trailer has that moment where she's putting like stacking up the dead elves' helmets on a battlefield,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of reference it in this trailer. You haven't seen what I've seen. Stop fighting. I think what they're going to have to show is they're going to have to show the end of that war, the breaking of the land, and the elves and all the other people sort of like settling back into their lands again, to a certain extent brand new, but
Mm-hmm.
to a certain extent also like, hey, like here we are, and now we're at peace, and now we can finally rest. The problem is that Sauron escaped, and Sauron is also called the Deceiver, and so Sauron could take on a form that was fair and that was benevolent, and he was known as the gift giver.
When you say fair, what do you mean fair?
Like he looked like that. Like he looked like an elf. Like
it's like a
super
Satan kind of idea. Like he's like
yeah, he's like
not,
super
ugly.
beautiful, super
Right.
fair. Like and he's good now, and he's all of that. And so, do you remember in the Fellowship when Gandalf yells at Bilbo and like it all gets really dark and it all gets really ominous, and then later when Frodo's like, "Here, you got to take the ring," and Gandalf's like, if I took the ring, I'm going to become something that's even worse than like you could ever imagine. That's what Sauron is in the Lord of the Rings that we know. So we're going to see him in this show. I think we're going to see him in this show becoming that, but also putting on like a visage of being like, "Hey, everybody, I'm a good guy now. I saw the error of my ways, and by the way, our lands are gone." So that's another part of this is that imagine if you took Alaska and attached it to the Pacific Northwest, and then a big and then it just it was destroyed and sank beneath the ocean. Like that's what happens in the Tolkien world. Like there's a massive piece of land that sits on the west coast that when Morgoth is defeated, the other gods come in and break that land to pieces and then take Melkor back, and then boom, there he is. It's called Beleriand, I want to say.
How do I look that up?
Yeah.
How do you spell it? I was just gonna look at a map. I didn't know if it was connected. Like,
and then type in. So after Middle Earth map, type in Bel, Bel. Yeah, that.
So this is the full map. No, that's Elder Scrolls.
I see.
I legit was like, so this is the full map.
Maybe that one on the bottom left. That one. Maybe. Yeah. So like everything in the middle. So that middle section between those mountains where it says Arnor and Eriador, that is where we are in the Lord of the Rings. Everything to the left of those mountains over there gets...
What map? What mountain? Where are they?
So in the middle, it says Arnor in the top. The Shire's just below that.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the Shire, and then Eriador down there.
Yeah.
So all of that and east is what where we are in the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, this area.
Go to the middle and go west, go left. All of that gets destroyed after the Great War with Morgoth. All of that gets sunk below the waves.
Okay.
And then if you look on the bottom left-hand corner, that island Numenor, that's where Aragorn's people come from. And so we're going to also see in this show, I think, them leave Numenor, sail to where Gondor is, and then that island gets sunk too. That island gets destroyed as well.
Okay. Because I was gonna say I didn't know that this I had never seen this little island down here.
Yeah.
On this corner. So I was thinking about like what Lord of the Rings maps I've seen. Obviously I've never seen this area. So like this map where these mountains are, this just gets sunk. All this like right at the ridge of the mountains, it's sunk.
And even like past the mountains a little bit, yeah. Because
let me look at a regular Lord of the Rings map. Oh yeah, I can see it already. Yep, here it is. Look at that.
Yep.
That's what's sunk.
So, yeah. So, what my guess is that this show. So obviously, this show is about Sauron's rise and the creation of the Rings of Power. But included in that is going to be Sauron deceiving the elves. And then Sauron is going to go to Numenor for a while and basically twist the Numenorian kings to go to war with the gods. Most do, except for Elendil, Isildur, and Anarion is his name, which are obviously the three ancestors of Aragorn. and they're going to take their people and head west, and everyone else is going to go east to fight in the Undying Lands and just get absolutely mopped up. Just, you know what I mean? Just like boom, done. And
Mopped up.
Numenor sunk below the waves, and then the Numenorians land in what we know as Gondor, and then they spread all through Gondor and up into Arnor, up north into the into the west, and basically after that we're right where we were, right? We're right back with the last alliance of men and elves, and we're, you know, Sauron gets his hand chopped off, and here we go. The Lord of the Rings is there. So there's a lot of time, of course,
Yeah.
that spreads and all of that. But so there's gonna be a lot, especially
Oh,
if
you're like
they
this. So this is the short version.
right. Yeah. So like, and that's why I'm curious how they're gonna start, because it's not that the elves never inhabited this region of Eriador, because obviously they do, but like over in the west where that gets sunk, that's where like their massive like cities were. That's where Gondolin was. That's where Nargothrond was. That's where Doriath was. Like that's where all of those. Of course, you don't. I don't expect you to know those names.
Yeah, I
but
was
I'm
gonna
just
say a
saying,
lot of
like,
this is starting to go. Well, not a lot of
Yeah.
this. All of this is gone over my head. You know, so like Jordan,
Yeah.
I feel for you too, but like I'm literally in the same boat with you. So
All
question
the
like,
same boat, man.
yeah, what? And we're going down with the ship. So, what are these things? Do you know what these are? Let me see if
What things?
Those are browser tabs.
Yeah, this is Google Chrome. These people. These
Those
pixie
are.
people.
I think those
Where
are the
is that?
forerunners to the hobbits.
Okay. Yeah, these.
Ah.
Yeah, because they look. They're obviously like hobbits. They're barefoot and stuff, but they look a little different. They look kind of like pixies, like fairies.
Yeah, like fairy-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the map, really quick. So I want to say. So if you go to the middle section, where the Shire is,
Yep.
and then just go straight.
I don't know why the quality is so bad, but
That's
yeah,
all right.
Okay.
So if you put your eyes on the Shire and then head straight east over the mountains, and stop before Mirkwood.
Right here.
I want to say that that's where. The hobbits dwelled
from?
before they reached the Shire.
So they go
which
through
is
the
also
mountains.
Yeah,
this way.
which is also where. Now, my understanding of hobbits is that most of them went to the Shire at some point, but some remained, and of those that remained, that was who Gollum belonged to when he found the ring.
Oh, not so different from a hobbit once. Yep. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So he wasn't a hobbit of the Shire, but he was a
river
very
folk.
close cousin.
River folk.
Yeah.
Wasn't what they were called? The river folk.
Yeah, because the hobbits in the Shire didn't like the water. The Tooks didn't mind it so much, or I think that's right. But like most of the hobbits in the Shire didn't like the water, and
Sam not being able to swim at the end of Fellowship.
Right. But yeah, so I want to say that's where they were. They might have been maybe a little. They might have been on the other side of the mountains on the west, but I don't remember.
Is this all
in this? In that region, though.
Is this all in the whatever the book is called?
Yeah, or the appendices of the found at the end of the Return of the King.
Okay. Okay, so these people.
So we're talking about battles. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, this is I forgot how dense Lord of the Rings is. I'm not. I don't know a lot of this stuff. This is a lot of new to me. But I'm piecing the pieces together. So. Okay.
So you want to watch the next trailer?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so like I said, what were your pins on the trailer, Josh?
I was underwhelmed. I was intrigued, but was ultimately underwhelmed. I think the thing that intrigues me the most is back near the beginning. This shot right here. Good job placing it. Because
I was legit just like being funny, but nice.
No, because like if that's what I think it is, I think that's the Undying Lands.
Okay, so that's where Gandalf and
that's where the elves. That's heaven basically. because in the Undying Lands there are 2 trees of light, and I'm kind of like, and that's honestly why I'm fascinated with where this show is going to start, because if they're showing that, then I wonder if they're going to either start the show farther back than maybe than I'm expecting, or they're going to have to do flashbacks, because there's so much. I mean, like I said, I just gave you the short version. There's a lot more like material that they could pull into.
We looked at this in here, I believe. Yeah, we looked at all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like the year. This is the first age. All this stuff happens. Then there's
Right.
this. This is the first age. So you're like, it's like 9,000 years or however. Second age, and so this second age, and then the second age ends right before Isildur leaves.
Yep.
Oh wait, that's
still the first age.
Yeah. Okay, second age, and second age ends right when Isildur leaves. Right after he dies. Yeah, Isildur defeats Sauron, wins the war. Maybe he doesn't die, but he basically takes the ring, and then the third age begins. And then that's why he's like, I was there 3,000, because it was. There you go. So all this stuff happens, and then Frodo destroys. Oh wow, I love that it was like I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then I'm like, Battle of 5 Armies. Okay, we got a long way to go. All right, all the Hobbit stuff. All right, now all Lord of the Rings. Yeah, and then basically when Sam closes the door, that's when the fourth age. I guess when he, yeah. So. But this show, I think, starts at the beginning of the third age.
No, it'll be at the beginning of the second age.
Man, that's forever. So 3,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
See, this concerns me because how far are they going to jump ahead with these events? Because the way Tolkien writes, it's dense, as we've just said, right? This is dense enough already. I think you could spend multiple seasons of a TV show in one age.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what were all the movies? And it's like, well, it was like a very short sliver of the final age.
Of this stuff, right?
Yeah. Of the final age. It's like if you take the second or last third of the final age, that's all the movies you've seen. So here's the thing too. Yeah, so it's 6,000 years ago is when this is taking place.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the crazy thing is that Galadriel was alive at the first stage.
Man, she's been living forever.
Right, but she's the daughter of one of the 3 great elf lords of the first stage.
How long do elves live?
They're immortal.
Yeah, forever.
Oh.
It would really suck to get killed as an elf. You know, because you know, like I'm just saying, you know, if I died at 70, then it's like, oh well, yeah, I lived pretty much of most of, you know, I did good. But like an elf, be like, man, could live for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and then you just died.
And then just snuff it, right there.
Like all those elves that died at the beginning of Lord of the Rings 1, you know, you're just like, oh, that sucks.
Or the elves that died in Helm's Deep, you're just like, dang it.
Yeah, when Haldar dies, it feels more significant.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have lived for so long.
You're talking about like your first 70 years is spent just learning elvish history. Like you're not even out of the subject.
Oh man, people would do so many things. You'd be like reading, you know how you're like, oh, this is what Alexander the Great did. You're like, dude, this elf story is gonna go on forever. It's like every single one. It's like, yeah, he's still alive.
Huh?
All right, you guys ready? I'll just say the only thing I thought was, I don't know, it looked really generic. Everything that looked like the old Lord of the Rings looked fine, because it's like that's the Lord of the Rings I know. But then this is what the new Lord of the Rings looks like. Let's just look at this for a second. Let's just absorb this and like how Bible it looks.
Oh
look,
yeah, just
look at this. Bible. It looks like this guy's like Nebuchadnezzar.
That's
this here, you know, it just looks, and like I don't know why. I can't explain it. I don't have like a reason for it. I just look at it and I go, if someone showed me this and told me it was Lord of the Rings, I'd be like, you're lying. This is not Lord of the Rings. This looks nothing like Lord of the Rings to me.
This doesn't feel lived in. Like the only place that looked natural and like unnatural was when they're in the Elvish kingdom, while everything else looked like it's dirty and dingy and like you don't want to be there. I think that's what's throwing me off. Everything looks too clean. These people wouldn't be this clean.
It's just something about it. Like, you look at Minas Tirith inside. Like, look at this.
But if this is the golden age of this empire, then I'm okay with it. You know what I mean?
But just this looks like a real hall. You know what I mean? I mean, not but. Sorry, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm just like additioning. But like,
yeah, it looks real.
Yeah, like this looks like a real hall. Like this looks like something I'd actually see that could exist. This looks like a cheap Bible set.
Set piece. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do CGI versus like, because that's where the Lord of the Rings movies like just killed it, right? Where it was like like that hall, they built that hall.
That's out of control.
So you walked around in a real place. And so then when they filmed it, it was like all the shadows were right, all of that looked good. Like that shot is like the funkiest looking shot, but because it only lasts like 5 seconds, and it's like the high up shot,
and a lot of them were models. You know, like even the buildings. That's just something to think about. You know, you look at the Lord of the Rings miniatures that you see, and they look just so good. Like the towers and the buildings, they built these miniature sets, and then they would film around them. They just like, and like they're not perfect, but they look pretty good.
I don't know of another film or film franchise that did this like what the Lord of the Rings did.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, like the amount that they built for this thing. You know what? I actually said this in the last stream. You know what's not involved in Lord of the Rings this time around? For the first time? Weta.
Yeah.
I think that's why it looks sucky. So, do you know what Weta is, Jordan? Because I'll explain it if you don't.
Please.
It's like the New Zealand company that did all the swords, all the prosthetics, all the buildings. They basically just killed it. You know, they just did an amazing job building this world. And so now you're getting like what Lord of the Rings probably could have been like had Weta not been involved. I think Weta just saw it as like an art project. They just made like just everything in Lord of the Rings looks so good.
I don't know if they ever contracted Weta to do it. And then I know that Alan Lee and John Howe, who were like some of the primary
that's true, the artists. That's
conceptual
true,
artists were at one point they were involved, and then they both left the project.
You're right. Actually, you're right. Okay, so maybe it's not. Well, I think Weta is a part of it, but you're right. It's actually the artists, the people who drew the swords. So these people, they had like these guys with pencils that would draw all the weapons, like this, and then so they are not involved in this.
I don't think they are. No.
Oh, you can tell. Look at this armor.
Yeah.
And like this. Oh, it's so good. I'm looking at it now, just remembering, and then it's like this. Look at this guy. Belt, you know? Ugh, it's just not good. Anyway, the whole show might not have just this kind of thing. I'm just saying, like, this shot in particular is like, that's rough looking.
Yeah.
So that was my takeaway.
I also don't think it's kind of.
What's that?
I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here, so feel free and cast stones. All right. I don't like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars because of the way it looks. Like, it has this same kind of clean look compared to what the original Star Wars and even the prequel trilogy had. But for whatever reason, I am okay with this because I think it fits the motif they're going for, which is that clean empire, super successful still. Things are not like at even as close to as bad as they're going to get. Yeah. And so if this is what this represents, I'm okay with it. If not...
Yeah, I agree that like a cleaner Lord of the Rings is... I don't have a problem with that because it's not as aged. You know, you get to the third age and it's like, man, everything here has been around for a long time. And
thousands of years. Yeah, that stone would be weathered. Yeah, those colors are gone.
Yeah, but I think it's not so much the colors I dislike. It's just something. It just doesn't. It feels really unenthusiastic. Just like very bare minimum. If I said, "Hey, or draw a hull really quick," and then I guess we'll make this blue, and we'll put these little fire things here and make them have little zigzags on them, and make this blue, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't. It's very boring.
There's no grandiose feeling. It's not epic, right? Because like I remember the first time that one model we were just looking at, I saw that, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it
like,
looks
this is wild. Even the inn, like in the first movie when Frodo and Sam go to the inn and they're being chased by the Demon Kings, whatever they are. I'm sorry, Lord of the Rings is not my forte.
Yeah. No
even the inn felt like it was something that was real in the world and wasn't just a set piece. I think that's what we're primary. This feels sterile to me, like it's a sterile.
Yeah, it does. Very just bare bones, boring. Just like lack of excitement. It's nothing interesting. So.
Yeah, but again, if it's like within if it's fresh, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and if this is the only one that looks like this, that's like, all right, fine, whatever. You can have some bad. I don't care. Okay.
I think there's some. Go ahead.
You go ahead. We'll play the next one. What were you gonna say?
No, so I think there's some value in having different aesthetics, even if sterile and blank is an aesthetic, because as long as it's fitting the purpose of explaining and showing you what's going on. Because we talked about that previously. If it's something is not showing you, don't tell me, show me. And if it's showing me, then I'm okay. If it's going to be something else where it's just like, oh, this is just the aesthetic, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree. Okay, here we go. Spoiler, I think this looks way better than the other trailer. It might not deliver, but this definitely is like, okay, this feels good. So I've only watched it one time, so I guess I could let it play all the way through, and then we can go back and go through it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
We thought
I love this shot.
Like this already looks better.
At last was ended.
Today, our days of peace.
That's Elrond, by the way.
Oh my god.
We thought our joys would be unending. We thought our light would never dim.
The skies are strange.
It is here, Galadriel. The moment we feared.
Like this looks great. That looks really good.
Evil does not sleep. It waits.
Beyond the darkness, tempting shadow to bury us all beneath the mountain.
He has not one name, but many.
Have you heard of him, lad? Have you heard of Sauron?
If the evil rising is left unchecked, it will take us all. Find the light, and the shadow will not find you. Together we can survive this! Fight with me.
Each of us must decide who we shall be.
There can be no trust between hammer and rock. Eventually, one or the other must surely break. You have been told many lies of Middle-earth.
That's awesome. Oh.
All right, so yeah, that way better. Just way like 10 times better than the other trailer. I don't know if it'll be good, but this is much better. It does feel a little Disney to me, like a little bit like Star Wars. You know, comparing Disney Star Wars to prequels and the originals. You know, it's got where he's like, you don't know the lies of Middle Earth or whatever it was. It's like, okay, yeah, that's very like trailer line. That's sort of corny, but ooh, man. Like this shot, let me see if I can find it. My favorite shot. Don't remember exactly where it was. Where's that white orc? That guy. Oh man, that looks fantastic. That.
Yeah, that looks
like this
really
little
good.
robe he's got, and this like hooked. I think this looks really cool. And then like the colors behind him here and this guy, like this feels very Lord of the Rings to me.
The
I like
orc
this
looks
a
like
lot.
the orc looks like he was. It looks like prosthetics.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's not. This is not CGI. I think this is real hair right here. So I'm really happy to see this. And this guy, and then the other shot. It was with all of the elves fighting with like white armor against all the orcs with their black dark armor. I don't remember exactly where it was. I think it was early on, maybe. Whatever. I'll just play it. What do you guys think while we're going through this? Josh, how about you go?
Yeah. So the thing that stands out to me is like my favorite part of that trailer is
That's the shot, by the way. This looks like Lord of the Rings to me.
yeah, that looks good.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
think
can see the battle.
that.
Oh wow.
This looks
Yeah.
like Lord of the Rings to me. Because
Yeah,
look at
that
this looks
looks-
real. Like this looks the gold with the black and the slime and the mud and the dirt and the rain and the fire, the swords. This looks
This
good.
is terrifying, dude. Look. Oh. Yeah, I think you're right. I think these are all prosthetics. There's probably some CGI in the far background, but not the foreground. Oh, it's a cool shot too.
What's your shot, Josh?
I love the one at the end when sorry, I'm trying to find something and it totally
Playing
excuse
it
me.
right now.
It's this.
Do you think that's
And-
Sauron?
Yes. So I'm
Yeah.
convinced that's Sauron, but keep playing it. This is the reawakening of the Balrog in Moria. I'm calling it right now. Cause see all those veins of silver? That's Silmarillion. That's Mithril in Moria. Because then that fizzles. You have this little bit right here, and then the Balrog awakens. Like that to me is like clearly because I'm
Does
trying
he
to
awaken?
find.
He wakes in the second age, maybe. Maybe we can
I
search
think
the
so.
timeline.
Yeah.
Balrog.
What's the significance of the Balrog?
Here, awaken a Balrog. Bridge of Khazad-dûm. So this is.
That's second age.
It's pretty.
Or that's
no,
third
it's
age.
third age, so it can't be.
Unless they go to the third age.
Well, hold on. Let's see if maybe there's another Balrog or something.
No, it's
Isn't
the
there
same
more?
one. So
the
Durin
first-
dies. So Durin the Deathless, way back in the first age, dies by the Balrog. So that Balrog has been there for a long time.
So wait, this is what I'm looking at. So this is 1980. It's kind of funny. And if I go back, then what does this say? Confronts Morgoth and demands Balrog's
issue from Angband. Yeah, that's there.
And then before that, oh wait, what's this?
Yeah, the Balrogs, which
One
Morgoth
Balrogs.
created.
So there's more than one. So maybe.
Oh yeah, there's tons of Balrogs. Oh yes.
Because he says the Balrog of.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say Morgoth?
Morgoth is the name of the god. Is the name of the god who went rogue and who made everything.
I just realized. I just connected that it's like, oh, that's hit. Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's not a place. It's him. It's the old Sauron. You know, like Sauron's master or whatever. So this could. You think they're gonna change it? Maybe they're gonna break some rules. Maybe that'd be kind of rough. I think they're gonna get criticized a lot if they change the story, because Lord of the Rings is not like Game of Thrones, but has similarities to Game of Thrones. Where what people liked about Game of Thrones was it felt like a history book with violence and rape and all, where it's like it's just, yep, world's horrible, and if a fantasy world existed, it would be pretty tough. Like, it'd be a hard world to live in, lots of power battles and politics and everything. And Lord of the Rings is not like that, because Lord of the Rings, I would say, is more poetic than Game of Thrones, but it's still like a history book. You know, it still has like a ton of information. So if you start messing with it, I don't know, people are not gonna like that, I don't think.
That's the problem with anything like this, whether it's Star Wars or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
When it's not the original author making something, or it's not followed up 100%, forget about it.
So this is probably Sauron right here.
You think so?
Isn't this the guy at the end? Looks like him.
Yep.
All right, so
what's the connection with the kid? Do we have any idea what that is?
Where the sword?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, so this is possibly Sauron right here. Which it looks, it's all right. I kind of like the devilly kind of look, where it's like this almost alien-y looking, pale, fair-haired prince kind of thing. But he does, I don't know. He looks like a teenager, which is a little bit odd. I don't know. Just gonna kind of watch it with no sound. Yeah, dwarfs. This looks cool. Her getting up like this with all the dust everywhere.
Cool.
I see now. This touches what we were just saying. Look at this building. Now hold on. Not cool, because it looks CGI, and I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say it looks CGI. It just does. It just looks CGI. It looks like a Pixar movie.
It's literally the Disney castle.
Yeah. Little light. Yeah, it just looks. It looks fine. Like, it's like, all right, it's just, yeah, it's a building. But like this compared to this. Look,
this?
yeah, sorry, I'm trying to like wait for it. This? Oh shoot! Look at this! Look at this!
It's so much better.
Oh, it just looks like a. Oh, it looks so good comparatively. Which I get that they can't have the same budget. Fair enough, I get it. But man, this looks
they spent
cool.
how much money on this show?
Miniature. Oh, I don't know. Ring.
It's got to be more than for all three movies combined, right?
Oh, come on. Power. Budget. Yeah. What? So they could spend that's probably more than what was Lord of the Rings' budget.
Well,
it was a lot, but like, it's Fellowship of the Ring was less.
Yeah, look, 94 million and then 180 million USD.
I wonder if it's because it took so long to make this movie. Didn't Lord of the Rings take forever? Or there's a lot of pre-production for Lord of the Rings. I don't think filming took forever, but there's like a lot of pre-production for this movie.
Could this just be a side effect of the Lord of the Rings being what it is, an incredibly top tier, extraordinarily well made series?
Not. This can't be right. This can't be right. They probably this can't be right, because this can't be right.
Are they including the purchase of the rights?
Yeah, there's gotta be something. Yeah, they better not be playing this off like where they're like, oh, we spent this on the film. It's like, no, you spent this on the rights. You know?
Here's the initial report by New Zealand outlet stuff in the middle there.
That's using that big brain.
New Zealand is loving the money pouring into their country right now, though.
Kidding.
Jesus, 650 million and they only get a.
But what are they buying? This is them purchasing Lord of the Rings, though, right?
It's got it. I wonder if it's
I don't think they purchased it.
It's not. There's no way they spent $500 million on the film and it looks like this. There's no way. There's no way.
Dude, $650 million for
That's
a
like,
season.
yeah, dude. Transformers was 200 million. It's like, what? There's no way. Something's wrong here.
There's no way it's 650 million.
Yeah,
It's
what
got to
am I
include
missing?
the first rental of the season.
Yeah.
I mean the rental or the lease or whatever, however
Yeah.
it works.
I don't even know how.
Wait, hold on. Costing.
Sorry
Here,
about
just
that.
let me go back. I caught it here. Where's this? That's far above previous reports estimates that pegged the fantasy drama at costing an already record-breaking $500 million for multiple seasons of the show. We can tell you're going to spend about $650 million in season 1 alone. Jesus, that's the Minister of Economic Development and Tourism. Dude, they probably did spend it.
But on what? I just don't understand how they could spend that much money on a film, on a show.
Like Game of Thrones cost roughly $100 million to produce per.
You better
season,
be
so
building Isengard in real life for that money. Like the whole thing, like full life-sized.
Jesus.
That's insane. I don't know if I believe this. Something's not right here.
I mean, it's the minister. Why would they have to lie about bringing in that much money? Yeah, I'd give him a tax break too. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Something's fishy here.
It wouldn't surprise me if they spent that much money on one season. It really wouldn't. Amazon has so much money, they don't care. There's no way Jeff Bezos is like.
Let's just think about this. So, $600 million.
Now, to be fair, we are watching this on like tablets and streaming devices. I wonder if when we see it fully depicted, it'll look a lot better.
$90 million. Just don't understand. Something's not right here.
CGI must be really
because
expensive
even
nowadays.
the best stuff here. Fair enough. Yeah, honestly, no. I mean, no. I'm not agreeing yet, but I'm just saying fair enough because the CGI that they're doing now, they're rendering it out in like super high resolution for all like the streaming platforms. Like when we watched Guardians again for the stream, which we will do, it was so crystal clear because they're the CGI stuff is insane. So they would spend a lot of money to render all this stuff. Okay, fair enough, but no way. That's so much money. Oh man.
But it's just also be a side effect of like the day and the age we're in, where content like this just costs so much money to produce. And especially
but that's more than like a movie. That like movies. What's the most expensive movie? I think that's more than ever made. Let's just see. Yeah, look, this is the most allegedly the most expensive movies. The trilogy for The Hobbit costs that much. The whole trilogy, and that movie, I don't know. So that's three movies.
It, though. I mean, if they're an hour plus long episodes and there's like 6 of them, why not? Right? Why wouldn't the first season cost so much?
That is
deliver.
True.
It better deliver because it better deliver for that much money.
Could you imagine if they're like, hey, so this is 20 episodes, and it's like, 20 episodes, 30 minutes, and then no, but imagine if they're like 20 episodes. Oh God, 20 30-minute episodes. All right, not good. And they're like, yeah, by the way, they're like an hour and a half long each episode. And you're like,
dude, yeah, careful, Josh. Yeah, I hope they're hour episodes. If they better not be like 30-minute episodes. That would be so lame.
They're not gonna be. They're gonna be.
They have to be an hour.
45 minutes.
Yeah, I would like it if they're like 50 minutes, like full hour episodes. That would be fun because you could really do a lot in an hour. I feel like 30 minutes is decent, but you can't quite. It still feels like a TV show at 30 minutes or 45 minutes.
I put money that it's an hour and some change per episode. And there's probably gonna be like at least 10 episodes. 8 to 10 episodes. 8 to 10.
Could you imagine?
10 hours of Lord of the Rings. Just don't give us filler, don't give us filler please. If they ruin this and just give us like a bunch of lame episodes in one, don't pull a Disney.
Okay. Okay. Play the scene. This sword shot looks
This looks very Lord of the
incredible.
Rings. This looks like. This reminds me of the Witch King.
Oh yeah, the Witch King's sword.
Yeah. Where he's like holding it in the air.
Mhm.
I don't know how to even Google this.
There you
Uh, Witch King versus Gandalf. I know exactly what
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
you're going
Witch
for.
King versus Gandalf. We can probably just watch the clip.
Yeah,
here.
that. Yeah, that.
That.
There's a close up with it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that moment where
Let's
it's
go to
just-
the. Let's go to you. Oh. Let's go to YouTube.
go. This was a good scene. I like this.
Yeah, we'll put the volume
For obvious
up
reasons,
some.
we're checking out the clip, Witch King versus Gandalf on YouTube.
$90 million right here. Where they built the set that they're actually standing on out of
this
real
looks
material.
So good. Even like the creature that's clearly CGI looks really good.
And you know why that is? I've said this before, not to play that game, but because this is real and this is a green screen, so this is a miniature, so real,
Mhm.
real CGI. And it's like, yeah, because so like, how much of this screen are you looking at that's real? Most of it, and there's just a little bit of CGI, so you don't your eye doesn't catch it as well.
Yeah.
Right, because like the buildings in the background are miniatures, the
Yeah,
actors
but
real.
and actually, you're right. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that does look good too, and it's also shot on film, which has a certain feel to it.
Yeah,
that
that
right
shot right there. Oh.
The way it's like sucking the clouds in.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, yeah.
Damn.
I will say this though. Have you ever seen this? Okay, this movie's from 2003, and I love this movie. But this is terrible CGI. Watch Gandalf. Right here.
That's
Right here. See him? Watch this.
Uh-huh.
Looks like a video game. It's only one shot, you know. It's like whatever, you know. They just didn't pay as much for that
so
one.
hard.
Just like the animation is terrible.
You know what it is? I think this is what we're all talking about here. Digital does not have the same visual principles as digital. Or digital doesn't have the same grounding principles. I don't know what it is. Is it just too hyper real? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I do feel like it's like can we not figure out how to make digital film look like film? We have so many nerds out there. It's like there's just not a way to do it, and for some reason it just doesn't look quite the same. I don't know why.
But see, like we say that, but like, so Disney is like, oh, all of our Star Wars is on film, but then some of the Star Wars stuff looks really bad too.
Yeah, I mean, like there's gonna be bad CGI in film shots. What's that film called? What? So Hunger Games. We watched Hunger Games, and the first one looks fine and stuff. The second one looks incredible, and the third one doesn't. And you can just tell. Let's see if I can find a picture of this. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing this yet. Okay. Stills maybe from.
Luke, you know more about film versus digital. Is film just a higher resolution? Is that what it is?
No, usually digital is actually higher resolution in a way. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird. I'm not like that much of a nerd about it, but it's like film. You can see it with digital pictures. Let's see. Let me just see. It's just hard to explain. What's the second one called? What's the second Hunger Games called? Hunger Games 2.
I think it's Mockingjay Part 2.
Catching Fire.
Catching Fire?
Yeah, Catching Fire still. I don't know if we're gonna really be able to see it here. Let me do this. Film versus digital.
They say I don't like Woody Allen in this movie.
I'm just gonna get a million YouTube thumbnails that say it's exactly the same. Yeah, okay, this is sort of kind of a good example. See how there's just something different about this one? Like, look at her eyes.
Less
There's
film
more
on the left,
shadows
right?
on the left one too.
Yeah, it's like a darker contrast. There's like a richness, sort of. Like, there's just something about it sometimes. It just doesn't look.
You know what it
Yeah,
is
I don't
with
know. It just
film?
looks different.
It's something I would see in real life versus with digital. You can tell it's being rendered as such. Like digital doesn't look real.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of hard to explain.
That's just
It's like a you know, if
also,
you
whoever shot this didn't do a very good job. I'm just being
yeah,
honest. Like
I
this
know
is
they're very
this is
different.
a terrible example.
You know how if you take like a video clip on your computer and then you set up a keyframe where you do a little bit of a zoom in, like over time,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like slowly zooms in. Do you know what I'm talking about, Josh? Because Jordan, I know you know because you've done like some video stuff. It's just like it's a digital zoom. It's just sort of like it's like this. See how I'm zooming in digitally?
Mm-hmm.
But imagine it being in a video and I just slowly zoom in. Okay.
Sure.
It looks fine, but if I actually zoom in with a camera lens, the depth of field or whatever it's called, not the depth of field, the distance of the subject to the background is going to shift a little bit, and there's like some subtleties that using real glass kind of does that just looks better. And I think the human eye is just really good at telling the difference between things that are simulated and real. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's very similar, but people love film.
You know what? For me, I think it's the difference between having light directly influence a physical object versus, and that being the final product versus light going through a sensor and then a computer interpreting that data. And I think that's like, because that acts as a filter, and I think that's the difference. I think you could put the same camera lens, the same camera setup, with the same aperture, same lighting, same camera position, and you would go, "Oh, the film looks better." Because
it's like I think there's like ghostly. There's something kind of ghostly about film that makes it seem a little bit more interesting. This gets really abstract and weird. But it just looks better. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't honestly. It doesn't even look better. It just looks different. It's like digital audio. We should have Michael talk about this. Like digital audio versus analog audio. It has a different feel.
Can you scroll down to that picture with the chin?
Yeah, these are just not good photos. This doesn't look like a very good photo.
Yeah, these photos are terrible. Like the chick is in the white dress isn't that bad.
Yeah, I can try and I'll check that one out too.
Are we just predisposed to liking warm images? Is that just what it is?
Oh, whoa. Okay, that was not what I was expecting. So wait a minute. 0 upvotes. Something tells me this is not good. Oh, these are scans. This is not.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where's that girl? Let's try this one. See, this is what we're gonna find. We're gonna find 10,000 articles that have a picture that looks almost exactly the same. And be like, can you see the difference? You know you can't. It's the exact same. Everyone who says it, and it's like that's not true.
Of course you can see the difference.
Yeah,
one on the left is film. The one on the right is digital. Like immediately.
I don't know. But I mean, Watch Hunger Games: Catching Fire, as high resolution as you can watch it, and then watch Mockingjay 1. And Mockingjay 1 looks like The Social Network, and Catching Fire looks like a cinematic movie. This is digital. Social Network, look at this. This is what digital looks like. This kind of color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a good film example.
It's washed out. It's bland.
I think if you watch Star Wars Episode 7 versus Rogue One, because I think Rogue One is digital.
Oh, dude, Rogue One looks.
It does look good, because like I think it can. I don't know if that's what you're about to say, but I'm gonna say I think it looks fine. It just looks different, and it's not as. I don't know. Okay.
It's not as tangible.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna spend $100 million on this, it better be shot on film, which it isn't.
I know it's gonna be digital for sure. I bet these were shot on like red 8K cameras or something like that.
Yeah.
It looks good. I mean, like I'm not complaining. Like this feels good. It's still the color is.
Oh, I know
I love
something
how
to
we're
show.
complaining about color. Like on one hand it's too bright, on the other hand I'm like it's too gray.
Uh,
You
there's
can't please me.
anamorphic. There's I know something I can show. Anamorphic lens versus spherical lens. Okay, so um, an anamorphic lens. Let's see, is it gonna show me here? We can watch a whole video on this. Spherical lenses make a like circular kind of blur behind her. If you look at the background, it's kind of a just fuzzy. But if you look at behind her in this one, it's almost like it's smudged, almost like it's a painting where someone kind of smudged it vertically.
I don't care. I don't care for that. Like that anamorphic. I don't like that.
It's a different feeling. What people tend to like about it is it looks more cinematic because it looks a little bit more like a painting, and so it looks kind of weird. It looks a little different than real life, and so people like shooting film. Kind of like if you look at a black and white photo versus a color photo. The black and white photo is going to have sort of a classy, different feel to it that you don't normally get because real life is never really black and white. So it's kind of an interesting look. That's what anamorphic lenses are like. That's what film is like. And digital doesn't have that optic weird whatever feel it is. I don't really have words to explain it. So, but yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. This looks great. These guys, look at this guy. This looks like Lord of the Rings to me. Because of that beak nose in Return of the King. These guys.
This looks good. This looks good.
Yeah, like the bones, the kind of white ghostly color. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I like that. Kind of like eyes, White Hand of Saruman and stuff like that.
It's very culty too, which is a good feeling.
This doesn't look good to me though. This looks like Game of Thrones.
Is that a bad thing or is that just like a preference thing?
I just don't think it feels like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings has a certain feel and Game of Thrones has a certain feel, and when I don't really know how to explain it.
CGI. I don't hate CGI. I hate when I notice CGI. That's my thing.
Agreed.
That looks cool. That's fine. That's fine. I don't know enough about that to care. That's clearly real, and I'm happy with it.
This looks great too. Love seeing these guys.
So the orcs in this look so good.
Yeah, I'm so glad because honestly the orcs and goblins and all that stuff in Lord of the Rings is just the best. Out of any monster and anything, any villain, baddie, whatever, like whatever they are called.
Right.
Orcs are like the best ones. What do you think
that looks really good too?
Yeah, what do you think of this behind her?
I don't like it.
This
it's a water dragon.
That's right. Jordan's like, sea monster.
It's obvious.
I'm not a fan of the fight here in a second where the guy's like flying across the way. So none of this, like, I don't like that.
Floating, yeah, it does look like he's floating.
That's dumb.
There's another one where he's spinning that I thought looked fine. This one doesn't look very good.
That's a great shot.
I love that shot. This shot too.
Like,
this looks very
like,
Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, all the sequences.
But this, like right here, where is she? This looks very Lord of the Rings with the fire and the sparks and the dark and the dirt and the sword and the elf armor.
They're zooming in on her. It's very like. It reminds me of that first. Shot.
Actually, sorry. Go ahead, Jordan. I literally see things and I can't help myself from even talking.
I know. Oh, it's all good, man. I don't take it personally anymore. It's that first shot in Lord of the Rings when you zoom in on Aragorn, and he's at the table, and the hobbits are looking for him, and he's smoking that pipe, and they just zoom in on him. It's got that smoky, dark vibe to it.
Yep. I do not like. I hate to complain about this. Watch his eyebrows. Ooh.
I don't.
Oh, I wish they did not get that. You know what I mean? That's kind of rough.
It's not necessary.
It's like, ooh. You know what it makes me think of? This.
Was he drinking coffee?
Oh, what? I would have thought it would be the first one. Oh, this one, yeah.
When the first cup of coffee hits your
Where is it?
Or the squirrel from
it's like
Over the Hedge, and they give him like a
yeah.
So bad.
I can give him points for like trying to do something kind of like original, and it's fine. But
That's cool.
I don't know. He's really interesting. I don't know how else you would do Sauron. Like if I think about it, like should he have a beard? No. Should he have dark hair? No. Should he be dirty? No. I don't know. I do like the like angelly look because that's kind of a fun archetype to have the Satan character look really angelic and pretty and stuff.
Well, I love the Satan character is also working for another god.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Originally, anyway.
This makes me want to read The Lord of the Rings.
What happens to Morgoth?
He gets taken away by the other gods and thrown in chains forever.
Are there any pictures of him? Like
One of the gods took your sweet your time.
Oh yeah, he looks kind of like Sauron. Unlucky.
What? Okay. What? How come the gods aren't interfering in this? I don't understand what.
There. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that.
I feel like this is getting into beyond the books, Lord of the Rings, where it's like, yeah, he didn't write about that part.
Yeah, that's fair. That's he wasn't asking existential questions. He was just writing about them.
Pop quiz, Josh. Do you remember this guy's name?
Gothmog.
Yeah, there you go. Very nice. Look how real this looks. It's all prosthetics. Looks insane. It's so good. It looks so real.
When the cancer goes untreated.
Yeah, I love that they did that in Lord of the Rings. They just made them all rotten, though. This is such a Peter Jackson thing, though. I love that he just takes stuff and pushes it so far. Like this guy with the skull on his head, and like the scratch, and this guy. It's like, oh, dude, he just and look at the armor.
Yeah. Could that be the thing we're like discussing about that Peter Jackson just isn't influencing? So there's like a vibe.
Yeah, there's like a hype. Like Peter Jackson takes stuff to 11. And I love that about his films. You know how like in the behind the scenes they talked about Witch King's flail,
the mace.
Yeah, and he just keeps pushing it and being like, dude, let's make it bigger. And they're like, okay, nah, it needs to be bigger, and they keep making it bigger. And the guy's like, all right, dude, I'm gonna make this thing insanely humongous, and it's gonna be so humongous. He's gonna be like, all right, never mind, that was too much. Let's pull it back. And he does it and gives it to him, and he's like, yeah, that's about right. This seems pretty good.
No. Oh, he goes, no, this is what he goes. He goes, well, I was actually thinking it was about 50% too small.
I love it, though, because it is ridiculous, but it works so well. It's so good, that weapon.
Here, Luke.
Oh, the actual video?
Yeah, play that.
In addition to the helmet, we redesigned his mace.
We had made
look how incredible
a
that
mace
looks.
for the Witch King.
And I looked at the first one that they built, and I just said,
baloney. Look at that's what it could have been. This is what a regular movie would have had. This. It wouldn't even look this good. It would have been a circle or something, you know?
It's okay, but we need to make it bigger.
He's right. He's right, though. He's right.
Bigger.
He's right.
And Pete came back and said, no, I need it bigger again. So we made it bigger. And everybody's going, oh my god, this is like, this thing's getting huge. It's totally impractical now.
You need a big wrist.
Well, it went from impractical to ridiculous. I mean, this thing was huge.
And I'm like, hey guys, I'm embarrassed to take this on set. I'm going to get laughed off set. This is so ridiculously large.
Oh, Andrew.
And so I sort of hid it under my jacket as I walked through all the armor techs onto set, so I didn't get a ribbing.
Accents are great.
And I went up to Pete and I said, look, Pete, this is what we've come up with for the Witch King. Pete gets it.
I love
He's flaying it like this. He gets one swing, and then the handle catches in his lapel, and the momentum. He's going around. It's so funny, and it nearly flips him over, and it hits the ground, and it's caught in his jacket. And it's like, you don't think the head's just a little bit too excessive, do you? And he goes, well, I was actually thinking it's about 50% too small, and I'm like, oh, please.
It ended up being an enormous cast iron
spiked
thing. Some people call it.
Look at that, though. That is so great. That is such a great weapon.
It's so cool.
That is absurd.
Yeah, let's stop for a second. Yeah, this looks so good.
Look at
this.
All, man.
And then it's like,
and it doesn't break it.
Oh, what, Josh? What are you gonna say?
It doesn't break the moment for me either. Like,
no.
like it just this massive thing just gets lifted up, and you're just like, Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's like,
this is
this
so
is the
ridiculously
reveal.
big.
You have not seen this weapon at all in this movie until right here, and you're just like,
And
you're like,
when you
what is
play
it?
with sound, you have like the clinking of like the chain. Click, 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 click. Shoo,
Like, imagine if
and
that was
you're-
small. How pathetic would it be if that was small? Imagine if that was like
Yeah.
a third the size. It would just be like
Isn't that
scary, but
Yeah,
not.
dude.
Oh, not like.
You'd be like, oh, that would hurt. This looks like, oh, this is gonna kill me brutally.
You know, it's also like.
You know, there's the scale of the camera. Go ahead.
You got it. I'm gonna change the topic.
No, I was saying the scale of the camera is I think the problem with like shows like this. When you're making props, they get smaller when they're close up, and so if you don't have like a proper scale, you lose the impact of what you're shooting. Like that Galadriel is a good example there, where they zoomed in on her. The impact of that scene was because she was close to the camera. You're like, oh. Versus having like a sword that's farther away, it's like, okay, it's a sword, it's dangerous.
Right.
But unless it's highlighted like in fire,
It's like
in one of the
yeah, they make it a subject almost, where it's like really
Yes.
framed and like this is an important piece. Here's
Faith
the
and
sound.
Peach, when you finally see it in the movie, it is ludicrously large, but it works because it's ludicrously large. I mean, you see that.
I know he's talking, but you hear like the clink, 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 is like coming off the ground. What was I gonna say? Oh, this is a Peter Jackson thing.
Here's another one. Here's another one just to like drive this point home.
The size of the steaks
I
that
don't know
people
if I'll be able to find it or not.
chicken, turkey legs. They
Where'd you send it? To the chat?
I sent it to the Discord chat.
To the yeah, I see it. Okay.
People would be disappointed by it.
My masters for on the great bid thee welcome.
And I somehow thought that, the prosthetics look fine and the design is fine, but surely there must be something else we can do to make this character a bit more kind of memorable.
Pete decided that he just he wanted something a little bit different looking. He just wanted to make him look a bit more scarier.
I then experimented with the idea of taking the mouth, which is obviously horizontal, and just simply cutting it out of the image and turning it sideways so it becomes a vertical mouth. Like it's there and it's sort of talking. And I thought that would be interesting. I was just trying to think of something that would make him unique and memorable. And so they did a test for me of the vertical mouth.
My masters for on the great.
Some of the tests looked really weird and just really creepy.
But again, it was going to take quite a lot of time.
Pete decided, no, let's not do that. Let's just keep what we had. But basically what a digital did is that they kept our original makeup, but they enlarged it by about 200%, I think it was.
My master Sauron the Great.
Yeah, look at that.
So much better.
Ooh.
Yeah, look at this. Let's just like this though. It's like.
But that's like digital well done.
Yeah, because
To your point,
it's
Luke,
digital.
where it's like-
digital that's enhancing real.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, oh.
You
Yeah,
hear
the
his
size of the
teeth.
mouth.
I mean, I was really pleased with the way that the effect worked because it gives you.
I love the creativity too, because they made his mouth splitting open and ripping because
Oh,
he
dude,
speaks
yeah.
evil or whatever so much that it's like rotting his mouth.
Yeah, I love that.
You can't see his eyes either. He doesn't even need them because all he
Mhm.
uses is his words. Okay, where was this clip?
What were you gonna show?
I want to see if I can find the first couple ladders going up, and there's just orcs just hanging onto them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's just so great. It's so over the
further
top.
back in the clip. Go further
Yeah,
back
I
in
don't.
the clip.
I don't think I. Yeah, in the scene. It's probably like
yeah.
here.
So
Let's just-
that one.
Yeah, like way up here.
Yeah.
Shoots.
Poor guy. Just. Pew!
Yeah, right here.
God, all the arrows just.
I love water and the rain. Everything
I
looks
love
so
this shot. It's
gritty.
so good.
Why don't we just watch this whole movie?
Let's watch the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, right
They
here.
have
Here
the
we go.
Gimli quote. Oh, they skipped the Gimli quote. That's fine.
And you're sort of like.
are clearly fake, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect because it's like you can't have a real army like in every shot. They didn't actually, But anyway, so like, you get here and you're kind of like, well, what are they gonna do? And then you see it. Well, gotta show this first. The larger than life crossbow sounds.
And then this right
and
here.
you don't know what it is yet. You're like, what is this? And you're like, oh, ladders. And then look. and they're just like the meth heads are just on the
The meth heads,
you know,
are on the thing. Yes,
are all just riding it with their 7-foot sword with the double blade.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, I love that they just took it so far.
And the
Look at them,
music is
look at
so
them, look at
good,
them. They're
too.
just like so excited.
And then they launch, and then like if you go back real quick, you see them jump like
Yeah, they
into the
leap
people.
off the ladders. How great is that? Like
And then-
jumping off the ladder onto the wall. And then this is incredible.
Even in the rain, they're dirty and disgusting. I love it.
Just chops through
literally
all of them
just
with
like-
one swing. And I love this too. Like, just look, the berserkers are incredibly well designed too. They look like they look look at them. They
Yeah,
look like
they look-
bulldogs almost with these like ghost dead eyes, and then they're just naked. They're like what are those William Wallace where they paint themselves blue and run around naked.
Oh yeah. I know what
Whatever
you're
they
talking
are.
about.
Yeah, I forget their name. Now, this is actually not the part I was thinking of, but I'm glad we watched it because those berserkers are amazing. But there's
This fight scene is just so good.
I know. This changed
Oh, you
my
gotta get
life.
the part where Gimli just totally nails the guy in the nuts. I love how gritty it is too.
Yeah, it just feels very. It feels
it's
like.
not the-
It feels like It feels like Saving Private Ryan, but you know, like the opening of Saving Private Ryan.
That's a man. That
Just
that
such a-
opening is so intense.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's a fantasy version of it.
So he hits him in the chest, and then
I'm on 17!
right here, my understanding is that John Rhys Davies actually nailed that guy in the nuts.
Yeah, probably. All right, so that was good. I'm glad we saw that. I want to see if I can find the other one, because there's one where they have like a ladder that's like twice as wide, and it's got like 50 of them on there.
So go to part 3. Go back and go to part 3. It'll be in part 3. Yeah. Because it's after the explosion. The death of
He
Haldir.
dies.
So sad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is it right here.
They just have this giant.
Oh, it's so cool.
And then you're like, what? And then they lock it in, and they're trying to like. I love that you see people run up trying to get it off, but then they're too late. Like they're like, see how they're like trying to get it off, but then they like pull it tight, so now it's locked. And then they just jump on and ride the ladder.
Oh yeah, and look at that. They're all
That is
just
so
hanging on.
great. This is so Peter Jackson. He does stuff like this all the time. I love this stuff. And it locks the ladder in too.
Yeah, it's such a good idea.
Is it just one of those things where Peter Jackson is what made Lord of the Rings Lord of the Rings?
It's like, I think it's a lot of different things, like the art direction, like those artists that drew all the armor and everything.
Sure.
Weta Digital did all these prosthetics are incredible. It's a
Dude,
good
this shot-
story.
The ladder just keeps falling and falling, and you're just like, when is it gonna land?
Yep, that's another Peter Jackson kind of thing. But so like if you watch King Kong and compare it to Lord of the Rings, you see what kind of stuff Peter Jackson does. He just likes to just push things. It's like to a ridiculous level.
Oh, yeah.
Like the natives when they go onto the boat and take Anne in King Kong.
Yeah.
And they have this like
They're
like
pole
vaulting.
vaulting.
Yeah, and the pole vault is like 40 feet long, and they're just like floating, and it's just like I just love it because it's like it's like a real movie, and it's just so fun.
So here's an interesting question. So like we're talking about Peter Jackson a lot. You brought up Saving Private Ryan, which was of course Steven Spielberg. Who are the next like great filmmakers? Because like we've been blessed with, I mean, Peter Jackson is best known for Lord of the Rings, and King Kong. I mean, he's obviously got a lot of like horror films that he's really well known for too. But I'm not a horror genre person, so that just doesn't. You know, I don't know that. But like, Spielberg is like one of the greats. Ron Howard, I want to say, is another one of the greats where it's like, I want to say his name is Ron Howard. It's the guy who did
Apollo 13.
Yeah, who's the guy who did Gladiator?
Oh, Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott's a good one. Yep.
So
Isn't
like,
that
there's,
true,
like,
by the way? Real quick, just side note. I remember watching Gladiator back in the day and just thinking, this is cool, but it's a little Hollywoodized. Like the fact that the guy goes down and fights as a gladiator, like the Walking Phoenix character.
Sure, yeah.
I was like, this is story. Apparently, hold on, we can look this up. I think that really happened. I think he died by a gladiator. That guy.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, what were you gonna say about who was talking?
Well, I was just sort of like asking the question, like, who are sort of like the next big, who's got next, like in the film industry. Oh, he was assassinated. Because like, I know that for a while, like when Star Wars really started like getting big, there was a level of like, oh, it's Jon Favreau. But then like, I don't know, like, I personally think that Jon Favreau, is someone putting like things in the chat?
No, it's just a tab I just posted.
I don't know. There seems to be an oversaturation of Favreau right now, and like Deborah Chow has done some good things with Star Wars and Disney, but but like outside of like what Disney's doing.
Oh well, that would have been cool.
I don't know if there's any like filmmakers who are making like classic films.
Is there a huge? What big filmmakers? What big films have just? Dune was pretty big, but I feel like Dune is not like a Lord of the Rings. I didn't see it,
good.
But I heard it's really good. It seemed high scale and big.
I mean, whoever did the Batman did a great job.
I know. I'm saving it. I'm saving it for a rainy day. In my defense, like I'm gonna watch it. I don't want to watch it on like an iPhone. You know, I want to watch it.
No, you need to watch it on the biggest screen you can find.
Right.
Dune.
Dune is so good.
What movies?
It's the only movie I've seen like 3 times in the like when it.
Oh, keep going. Sorry.
No, I was saying it's like I saw it twice in theaters, both times in IMAX, and then once when it came out on HBO Max, and it's excellent.
I will watch it for sure. I'm trying to think,
dude.
Like what movies, like Lord of the Rings, the scale of the film, where like they flew people all over the place, they built sets everywhere, they built all these weapons. It just feels like the scale of this movie is out of control, and I just don't know what movie recently, since 2003, what movies have done that. I don't know, because I would make an argument that even The Hobbit didn't do it again.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, like Game of Thrones, which is a TV show.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Game of Thrones and the work they did.
Yeah. It's still not the same scale though, in my mind at least.
Yeah.
You know how like Titanic is also another one of those, just like a giant movie.
Yeah.
Avatar, I guess Avatar is kind of like that. Like
Avatar with all of the CGI was huge.
Yeah, and it's like it is CGI, but it's like Avatar is a bit different. It's just so insanely good CGI, and it's a massive movie.
Well, there's a difference, I think, when like you watch animated shows or animated movies where you go into it expecting like it's animated. So there's a different standard when you watch anime or just an animated TV show, whereas like when you go into live action and it's just unbelievably animated all over the place badly, you're just like yuck. Well, which is why Avatar was like so incredible, is because you were like, so this is animated, but it's super good.
Yeah,
like it looks real.
Yeah, I don't know, because like here's another thing. I'm looking at this. Look at this stone, and the wet. Right. You can feel the water. You can feel the dirt. You feel the blood, and it's just. But then you look at this, and it's like, I don't feel this mud. I don't know why. There's something about like doesn't.
Go back a frame though when it's a close up of her holding the
Yeah,
helmet.
and it's fine, but it's like, why does this not look as gritty as like this?
Because it's not there. That's the problem with CGI. Like none of that.
Or it's
hardly
well,
any
it's
of
not
that is
CGI,
there.
but it's digital film or digital video instead of film.
Yeah.
But same concept. It's like this is going through a digital sensor, and then this is going through a film or it's being so like this here. I think the reason film looks so trippy is what you're seeing here is like a chemical reaction going through film, right? It's like I don't know the science of a camera, but it's technically a chemical or film, whatever film is made out of. I don't even know, and the light and whatever it is that makes the camera, it's making like a frozen piece of time in this like material, and that's what you're seeing. Kind of like if I had one of those glass. You ever seen those glass things that have they're like white dots and they make like a shape? You buy them at like a gift store or something. You know what that looks like? I don't know what they're called. It's like that. Like that's what film is. Film is like a chemical explosion of capturing stuff. So there's just something a bit. It'd be like seeing a painting versus digital art. And it's like a painting, you could zoom all the way in and see every little brush stroke. And so it's just a different feeling. It's got, I don't know, this is getting into real fartsy territory. But like, just something different about these kind of things. This is digital, and you can tell. Like this. It looks fine because it had to be digital, but this is digital. And then this is real. This is real. Something about the light too. I think the lighting is maybe just more natural. I think maybe our eyes are really, really good on picking up lighting, and digital lighting just doesn't look quite as real, especially cheap digital. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this too much because I'm not like a super expert. I just know it looks different.
No, I know what you're saying.
I think I'm ready to.
This wasn't captured. It's just.
I think I'm ready to wrap this up. I feel like it's a good conversation. Anybody want to talk about anything else real quick before we sum up?
No,
I'm good.
No, I think we're right on the par.
Cool. Good stream, guys. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And signing off.